Good evening and welcome to Carabao Cup Live on LFS tonight as we watch our second semi-final tie in the Carabao Cup as Tottenham, who haven't won a trophy since 2008, take on a Liverpool side whose last trophy they won is this competition, and they are the holders of the competition since winning it last year at Wembley. They'll be hoping to retain that trophy. If they can get a good result tonight, the second leg at Anfield will be a bit easier for Liverpool, but they know coming here that it is chaos personified against Spurs. That 6-3 win against Tottenham in the Premier League a few weeks ago is certainly clear evidence that there is no doubt that a 0-0 draw is very unlikely in this type of fixture. Both sides going strong as expected for this one, but some big news for Spurs as one of their January signings starts this evening. Liverpool have named a couple of changes from the weekend and their draw with Manchester United, which is eye-catching as well. After last night's win for Newcastle in North London, another visiting northern team will be hoping to take victory back to their home turf against another team from North London. Arsenal beaten by Newcastle. Spurs don't want to follow suit as their nearest rivals this evening and want to claim victory. Their only win in the last 8 home games came in this competition at home against Manchester United. Looking at the teams then, starting with the home side, and that new signing, Antonin Kinski, the Czech Republic number 21-year-old, starts in goal for Spurs, making his debut tonight. Joined on Sunday and starts on Wednesday nights. A back four for Spurs of Pedro Porro, Radu Dragoshin, Archie Gray and Jed Spence. Yves Bissouma, Lucas Bergvall and Rodrigo Bentancur are the midfield three, with a front three of Dejan Kulusevski, Heung-min Son the captain, and Dominic Solanke, the former Liverpool player. For Liverpool, Alisson starts in goal, an unusual claim for Liverpool recently, with Caoimhín Kelleher usually being the cup goalkeeper, but Alisson, their number one, is in tonight. Changes at full back as Conor Bradley comes in at right back for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Tsimikas comes in at left back for Andy Robertson, both benched. Kwanzaa is joined alongside by the club captain Virgil van Dijk in defence. Ryan Gravenberch is joined alongside Alexis McAllister and Curtis Jones in midfield, with Mo Salah starting off the right, Cody Gakpo starting off the left, and Diogo Jota leading the Liverpool line tonight. He scored in a cup semi-final back in 2022 in North London against Arsenal to carry Liverpool to that Carabao Cup final back then, which they won, of course, in 2022. Tonight, it's the first leg in North London for Liverpool, and they're hoping to give themselves somewhat of an advantage heading back to Anfield. But if Spurs can get a positive result come out of tonight, that trip to Anfield may not be so nervy come 4 weeks' time. Kickoff in the first leg of the semi-final of the Carabao Cup between Tottenham and Liverpool is next. Good evening and welcome in to this live audio commentary, live watch-along commentary on LFS of the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. Tottenham taking on Liverpool this evening, and hopefully we get a good entertaining game. The last game between these two, as I said in the Premier League a few weeks ago, was a 9-goal thriller. It would be a miracle if it was 9 goals again, but you would never count it out with Spurs having so many high-scoring games. I heard a stat this evening, earlier today, 70 games Ange Postecoglou's been in charge of Spurs, and in those games there have been 242 goals combined in those 70 games. That's almost 3 a game in his tenure in charge. It will be Spurs that will get us underway, both teams in their home strips this evening. No need for a change. Spurs kicking from right to left in the first half, Liverpool the opposite direction, as they did in the league fixture a few weeks ago. And Liverpool in that one had a 2-goal lead early doors against Spurs. Spurs then got one back before Liverpool scored a third for a 3-1 half-time score, and then an absolute chaotic second half, so a 3-2 scoreline for Liverpool, and ending the game 6-3 overall. An incredible game of football, almost incomparable unbelievable in a sense, as to how crazy that game was on that day. If we get anywhere near the same, it'll be a cracking semi-final. Here's Spence trying to go for the outside of the boot, pass in behind, but too far ahead of Heung-min Son, and Kwanzaa deals with that one well for Liverpool. Here's Bradley trying to flick it forward, but beaten off the ball there was Ryan Gravenberch, but Curtis Jones makes sure it goes out of play for a Spurs throw. I did mention those full-back changes for Liverpool, both Alexander-Arnold and Robertson on the bench. Arne Slot said in his pre-match interview, down to fitness for those two full-backs that start tonight, coming back from injuries as of recent times, which is true. Conor Bradley and Kostas Tsimikas have returned from injury very recently and are in the starting 11 tonight. Spurs have a free kick. Spence will flick it forward, chested down by Solanke, but again Bergvall couldn't keep it alive as Liverpool intercept. Only for the moment though, as Son tried to get back involved, and Curtis Jones does well to break that apart. Here's Salah. Salah trying to send Gakpo on a run. Lovely first touch by Cody Gakpo. First real attack of the game. Gakpo arriving in the box. Just ushered out well there by the Spurs defence. Swung round the corner for Bradley to try and keep in, but it just goes behind for a Spurs goal kick. Again, it was good recovery by Spurs. It looked like when Gakpo first got the pass from Salah that he was going to try and run in, but Spurs got bodies back quick enough. Ushered him out of the 18-yard box, and ultimately that Liverpool attack came to a quick end, but Gakpo will be a massive threat. Scored a very good goal against Manchester United on Sunday, albeit in a 2-2 draw in the end for Liverpool, but a wonderful finish by Cody Gakpo to level the game against Manchester United. Kwanzaa under pressure as he flicks it forward, but well intercepted by Gray. Here's Spence, surrounded by two. Bradley wins the challenge. Battling was Jones and Bradley again, and neither of the two Liverpool players could come away with the ball. Here is Spence. As Solanke on the run, and the Spence ball will just go out of play for a Liverpool throw. Well, this is Liverpool's 20th League Cup semi-final appearance, Tottenham's 18th. They have the two teams with the most semi-final appearances in this competition. Oh, it's given away by Liverpool there by Tsimikas, and just about recover with Kwanzaa. Talk about Spurs playing out from the back and being dangerous. Liverpool almost gifted Spurs a chance there through Kostas Tsimikas. See it again, it comes out to him on the left hand side, and as he tries to step back infield, he tries to play it back across to Virgil van Dijk. Didn't spot the pressure from Dominic Solanke, and almost gifting Spurs an early great opportunity. There, the Greek left back for Liverpool gets away with it. Jota on the turn from the throw in. Tried to drive forward, but run into Spurs bodies and wins another throw. Here's McAllister. Intercepted though. Nicely won by Spurs in the middle. Here's Bergvall breaking away. Couldn't link it up with Solanke. And Spurs dispossessed again in the end by Liverpool. Both sides battling well so far. The midfield is a real tussle at the moment. Very combative from both teams. As Bradley runs into space, and he will get the free kick off Rodrigo Bentancur. And it is a free kick to Liverpool. Here is Jarell Kwanzaa. Oh, gives it away again. Some weak passing from Liverpool as they give it to Bergvall. Gets into the box. Can't really find a pass. He cuts it back now to Bissouma. Trying to edge its shot chance, but McAllister in the way. Out wide it comes as Van Dijk has to get involved and puts it behind for a corner. And the captain of Liverpool asked for calm from his team. They were a bit frantic in these early moments. Pedro Porro will come over and take this Spurs corner. And Virgil van Dijk's clearance ended up with in the first corner of the game. Porro delivers in, low, right across the box. Follow up by Son and flicked on. Good save by Allison. Really good combinations from Spurs. It was Dragoshin that had the shot in the end, I think, was involved. There's a player down here actually for Spurs, which is not a good sign because all the players are calling the medical staff over, which is a real worry. Trying to see, we're not being shown any replays, which is a bit of a concern. We're getting the wide angle, but I think the stretchers come out here and it right away. And I think it was Rodrigo Bentancur that's involved here from the corner. It was flicked on. It was quite low into the box, and Bentancur tried to flick it on. And I think he's come off. See how he is assessed here at the moment. But there is a stoppage for that injury to Rodrigo Bentancur. And there was no doubt, we knew there was something serious happening when even the Liverpool players were rushing the medical staff onto the field. And the stretcher has been brought on here. We'll see if that is needed at the moment. Will in the chat says, hi LFS, long time, used to be fun. Oh, welcome in. Lost last night, hoping for a North London derby final, but don't see, somehow see it. Do you possibly see a comeback? Well, anything's possible. It's only 2-0 for Newcastle. Anything can happen. Arsenal get a quick start in that second leg. You never know if Arsenal can come back, but we'll just have to wait and see. 4 weeks today, that second leg is, of Newcastle-Arsenal. It looks like Spurs are readying a change here at the moment, so it doesn't look like Rodrigo Bentancur will be in any way to continue, and we kind of guessed that, but of course I think as long as it needs and as long as it takes, as long as the players' well-being and health is prioritised, that's all that matters at this moment. Getting an injury so early in a game. Virgil van Dijk, the Liverpool captain, has just been called over by his manager. Maybe getting a few instructions, because Liverpool have been a bit loose early doors. Not been composed at all. Have Liverpool a couple of cheap giveaways, and Kostas Tsimikas with one, Jarell Quansah with another. A few moments later, after around about 5 minutes, Liverpool almost give Spurs 2 very good opportunities. As Van Dijk now relays that message that he received from his manager to all of the Liverpool players. Will says, thing is, I'm praying Saka is fit for second leg. Going to try and get tickets for it. Well, hopefully you do get tickets. It's a tough trip up to the northeast, but there we are. I just don't see us scoring 2 or 3 without conceding at St James's Park. Well, that's the thing, you know. You set yourself up. The home leg is your leg to try and, if you've got the first leg at home, you want to keep yourself at the very worst in the tie. And Arsenal are still in the tie, but makes it a tough job going to St James's Park, where they've already lost this season as well. You're not missing any action at the moment between Spurs and Liverpool. Rodrigo Bentancur is still receiving treatment. In about 3-4 minutes that we've had the game stopped for the moment, so just make sure that Rodrigo Bentancur is okay. And it looked like when we got a glimpse of the bench, as I'm just getting another glimpse, Brennan Johnson is the one that's ready and waiting to enter the fray whenever that will inevitably happen. See what kind of tweaks and differences that will make to the Spurs team. Of course, Brennan Johnson more of a forward player. Bentancur a midfielder, so we'll see what kind of adjustment that might need to be made for Spurs. Rodrigo Bentancur, who has had a couple of issues this season already with injury. He did score in that 2-2 draw with Wolves last week or so in the Premier League. Did Rodrigo Bentancur. He scored that equaliser in the first half against Wolves. He scored a couple of times this season. Actually scored away at home against Ipswich in the 2-1 defeat as well. And now, but Rodrigo Bentancur is now on the stretcher, so we'll see what the outcome is here. And we hope Rodrigo Bentancur is as well and as fit as he possibly can be. And we wish him the very speediest of recoveries. As we're edging towards 6 minutes of a stoppage. The game was stopped around about the 6th minute, around about 6 minutes in, from my understanding. So we're going into the 13th minute, so we're just over 6 minutes of a stoppage. Jonathan says, can you give me a shout out? My name is Callum and it is my birthday. Happy birthday, Callum. Great, thank you very much for joining us. Brennan Johnson is still waiting on the sidelines. He will be coming on, so he will be the Spurs substitute for Rodrigo Bentancur when that substitution takes place. But of course, as we were speaking about last night's game, that Arsenal-Newcastle game, where Newcastle in the end won it on two very well created goals. The first goal from that set piece, and then the second, a kind of a poacher's finish by Anthony Gordon to double their lead against Arsenal. Arsenal find themselves in that position basically because they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net themselves. Wasteful in front of goal, and a couple of really good opportunities. It just went a begging for Arsenal last night. They weren't too bad. I said it in the game, I thought that both teams were competitive, but it's just a difference that a goal makes in a game, especially a semi-final, can really turn the tide. And Arsenal, who had gone 13 games unbeaten up until last night, I'm sure a tough one for them to take. As Will says, do you think if that Martinelli chance had gone in, do you think it could have been a very different story? Yeah, it easily could have been. I mean, goals change games, and if Arsenal would have won the lap, I don't think that would have been, we would have seen Newcastle coming away with a win. And that's a big statement to make, but I don't think we would have. I think Newcastle scoring first was a massive factor, of course, and them ended up winning the game last night. And it gave them a lot of confidence. And the fact that Arsenal kept missing chances was another big positive and a big confidence booster. Well, now an update on Rodrigo Bentancur. He is now on the stretcher and is now being taken off the field of play, to an applause from the whole stadium, both the home and away fans applauding Rodrigo Bentancur leaving the field of play here in support of the great medical staff that have spent the last almost 8 minutes treating for the player, and we wish him the speediest of recoveries. Do all of us at LFS, and of course everybody watching, I'm sure, here this evening will relay that message, and we wish him the very best. You just see him getting on to a wheelie bed on the side. So moving on, and we wish him the very best to Rodrigo Bentancur. Right, Brennan Johnson is on the field, and Spurs have a corner. You might have forgotten, since we last had the game on 9 minutes ago, as the corner delivered in and gathered by Alisson in the Liverpool goal. So we've actually played less minutes than we were stopped for in the game. So we played for 6 minutes and we're stopped for a total of 9. So we will have a long stoppage at the end of the first half. A lot of stoppage time. Here's Curtis Jones. Now to Kostas Tsimikas. Down the left comes Gakpo. See how Spurs will set up after that change. See what kind of tweaks that they will make. Andrew Postecoglou will try and relay as Virgil van Dijk tries to switch it, looking for Salah. But a bit too much on that one, and it goes behind for a goal kick. That's not another thing we saw from Liverpool against United on Sunday. Their passing wasn't at their very best. A couple of overhead passes, a couple of underhead passes, just not getting the measure on the ball at the weekend. And it was one of their biggest downfalls. When they get it right, Liverpool, they can be incredibly ruthless and threatening, but just couldn't get it right. That's a lovely throw-in ball. Gravenberch just slightly underhit that one, but Bradley there to keep it alive. Salah tried to cross it in, but well blocked by Spence, and it goes out for a Liverpool throw on the right-hand side. Conor Bradley will take. Bradley to Jones. Back to Bradley. Plays it straight to Spurs. Gives that away. Tried to find Salah, but ended up not finding the pass as Kwanzaa there in the cover. Spurs tried to get forward. Blocked that pass and got it back to Alisson. Bradley just about keeping the ball against Heung-min Son there. Conor Bradley's last start for Liverpool was in a Champions League game against Real Madrid at Anfield, where he had an incredible night, defending one of the most threatening players on the planet in Kylian Mbappe. Oh, Jota! Mixing it with a keeper there. Kinski just got away with that one. That could have been very nervy with Jota on the scene. Making his debut tonight, Antonin Kinski. The Czech, 21-year-old Czech, signed for Spurs on the 5th of January, 3 days ago, for over £13 million from Slavia Prague. And makes his debut this evening for the North London club. Of course, Brandon Austin was in goal at the weekend for Spurs. And that 2-1 defeat at home to Newcastle. A ball there by Curtis Jones. Couldn't get the ball off Bissouma. Here comes Spence. Down the left is Son. Looking for options up against Bradley. Gravenberch there and support as well. Here's Spence. Bradley tracking him. This goes back to Son again. As Liverpool have bodies in the spaces to cover those little gaps that Spurs are trying to find. Brennan Johnson out on this right hand side, playing in his more or less natural position. It's Kinski. Nice distribution. Finds Son on the left. Tries to chip it over the Liverpool defence, but Bradley there well alert, and Liverpool back in control. Will says, so far, what's your favourite game of the season? Ooh, good question. There's been a lot of good games of the season. I mean, the 6-3 here between Liverpool and Spurs was an incredible game. An absolute wonder of a game, but as Liverpool try and play that one in behind, Salah was lurking. Gakpo was there, but he was offside. And it didn't matter anyway. Spurs got the ball back. Here's Spence. Yeah, I'd have to say the 6-3. Because, honestly, I mean, name a better game than that this season. I mean, you probably could do, but any game involving Spurs has just been sensational this season. And here they come down the right-hand side to the home side. Porro on the overlap. Well blocked by the retreating Cody Gakpo. He's getting back in defensively there and puts it out for a throw-in. Throw-in given away. Although the ball by McAllister given away cheaply, and the cross into the box was low and hard, but it was straight at Alisson by Dejan Kulusevski. Van Dijk. Tsimikas trying to go over the top. McAllister chasing this one down all the way back to Kinski in his own box. Oh, and plays it off great. Spence is there though to keep Spurs in possession. That could have went anywhere really. A few nervy passes from both teams so far. It's Kwanzaa aggressive there, wins the ball. But in the end, Tsimikas oversteps his mark and Kulishevsky's on the break here for Spurs. Chance at the back post, couldn't get the cross in. And Van Dijk there to block it away. Spurs again creating chaos. Here's Son, edge of the box, trying to weave his way through. Son across! And the chance by Solanke is put wide by Alisson. He had to get himself right involved in the mix there to the Liverpool goalkeeper. It's Son off the left-hand side. He takes on Bradley. And Solanke, whether he's offside or not, is irrelevant at the moment. The flag stayed down. It comes across to Solanke, and he tried to side-foot it past Alisson. And in the end, Alisson was there, maybe put him off. It ends up with a Liverpool goal kick, but another good opportunity for Spurs. Certainly creating space and finding a way through Liverpool on the counter. Both sides have been open in possession. There's Kwanzaa there with a bit of a drag back to get away from the press of the Spurs players. Wanted a foul to Jarell Kwanzaa, but didn't get that, and gives away a Spurs throw. As we are clockwise halfway through the first half, but we'll have that long stoppage after Rodrigo Bentancur's injury. We've played a total of 7 minutes since that injury. Again, Curtis Jones tries to skip past a few. He runs into trouble. Jota falls to the floor and trying to win it back. The moment Liverpool a yard off their pressing. As it comes back to Kinski. Dragusin plays it right through, but comes all the way back to Virgil van Dijk, who can settle Liverpool for the moment. As Alisson goes long over the top. Gray wins the first header, brought down by Jota though. Played into Salah. Salah getting space and time. Salah feeds it through to Gakpo. Cody Gakpo back to Mo Salah, who drags the ball wide. First real chance of the game for Liverpool, really. That's a good break. It's initially from the long ball by Alisson. It's headed down by Archie Gray, but straight to Jota. Jota, nice link up with Salah. Nice 1-2 between those two. And then Gakpo gets it from Salah. He passes it back to Mo Salah, who's around about the edge of the box as he's drifting across. And he just drags that left-footed shot just wide of the right post. Bradley runs into trouble again in Solanke. Son feeds it down the left for Kulishevsky. And the cross gathered by Alisson. But every single moment just looks like there's going to be a big chance. It's that open. Jones to McAllister. Gravenberch on the half turn and gets taken out there. And we'll get a free kick off Heung-min Son. Gravenberch back to Virgil van Dijk. And now Kwanzaa. Again goes direct, but no one in Liverpool red anywhere near that pass from Jarell Kwanzaa. And Spurs back in possession. Will says, for me it's Spurs 1, Ipswich 2. Well, yeah, that was quite a dramatic game. Unbelievable result, really, for Ipswich. Their first Premier League win since 2002. Nice interception by Bradley here for Liverpool. Gravenberch to Salah. Salah across. Not as accurate as he would have liked it to be, and Porro comes across to clear it away. But again, the game is as open as ever, and you just feel that either one of these two teams could take the lead in the next few seconds. The amount of space there's being created in kind of both the final third of both teams, really. Alisson to Van Dijk, 25 minutes gone. Goalless in this Carabao Cup semi-final first leg at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where the holders Liverpool take on a Spurs side who are have been in a bit of a storm recently with their last couple of results and the criticism over how many goals they've scored as of recently, Spurs. It's a nice challenge by Curtis Jones to win it back. There's a Spurs player down in Jed Spence, but I think he was actually fouled there, says the referee. So a free kick's actually gone the way of Spurs. So he didn't hear the whistle there. One interesting that reminds me about the referees. There is VAR in action tonight, and a new trial that they're having. We didn't hear it last night because there was no need to hear it. But if the referee goes to the monitor, the VAR monitor, at any point once he leaves the monitor, he will then make his decision and declare it to the stands, the crowd, over the tannoy inside each stadium. To create clarity and transparency over decisions made by VAR and the referee, and to make sure that fans understand what is actually happening inside the stadium when VAR takes its course. There's McAllister there, combative in his challenge, puts it out for another Spurs throw. So the throw in bounces forward towards Solanke, but Jarell Kwanzaa kind of ushers that one out for a goal kick. Well, that draw against Manchester United. Oh, Jarell Kwanzaa actually, sorry, for the moment, is having a bit of an issue here. After ushering that ball out for a goal kick, he's being kept upon by his goalkeeper and Alisson and Virgil van Dijk. So maybe Ibrahima Konate, who's only back from injury. Ibrahima Konate started his first game since injury against United on Sunday. Arne Slot said that it wasn't probably in their best interest to start Konate tonight, considering he was only back from injury, but maybe could be his hand forced here. Jarell Kwanzaa is down at the moment and getting a bit of treatment. He already had an injury stoppage in the first half so far, quite a lengthy one. We might have another one here for the moment. As I was saying, the only blemish on Liverpool's recent record in the last 5 games was that draw against United. They'd won the other 4 away to West Ham, 5-0, 3-1 winners against Leicester, the 6-3 here at Spurs, and then that 2-1 Carabao Cup win against Southampton in the in the quarterfinals. Is there for the last 5 results ending in a win for the Premier League leaders? Well, it looks like Wataru Endo is the one getting ready for Liverpool here on the sideline. So maybe Ibrahima Konate is not going to be the one coming on. It looks like Wataru Endo might be coming in at centre-back this evening. Jarell Kwanzaa is back to his feet. Looks to be, if he is going to come off, that will be him just walking off to the sidelines. That's now one player from each team will now have been replaced. And Wataru Endo is coming on then to replace Jarell Kwanzaa. So another change at centre-back for Arne Slot. There have been a few centre-back changes this season for Liverpool. Joe Gomez had a spell there. Konate had a spell there, of course. And Kwanzaa in the mix a couple of times. And now Wataru Endo is another partner for Virgil van Dijk to have at centre-back this evening. Of course, Liverpool playing a very strong team tonight. They've got an FA Cup game at Anfield on Saturday at lunchtime. They take on Accrington Stanley. Spurs also in FA Cup action. Of course, all the Premier League teams in third round action this weekend in the FA Cup. As that's a bit of a naive challenge in the end there by Liverpool. A cheap giveaway. And Lucas Bergvall winning the foul for Spurs. Curtis Jones, the one committed that foul. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, that one. very disrupted game so far. Those two substitutions. So far we've had 3 shots in the game, but just 1 on target. That was one of Spurs' shots that were the on target ones. And Alisson there had the head from well out of his own box. Did get a good distance on it, did the Brazilian, as it goes out for a Spurs throw. And that's a bit loose from Lucas Bergvall as he puts it out for a Liverpool throw now. From a very tight little space where Liverpool had the press on. That was his, who do you think will win the Premier League, Champions League, EFL and FA Cup? Well, at the moment, Liverpool certainly the favourites for the Premier League, but Arsenal on the coattails. Champions League could be anybody, but Real Madrid have to be one of your favourites if they can get through cleanly, but Liverpool certainly setting the pace in that. In the Champions League as well. The Carabao Cup, you'd have to probably say Newcastle are in great form. If they can keep that form going, they could clinch this trophy as Jota goes down under a challenge. But if Liverpool get through this, they have history in Carabao Cup finals. The last 2 they've won, so they can get through this tie. But the final, I'm sure the neutral wants, barring Liverpool and Arsenal fans who would both love a trophy, but the neutral, the football romantics would love it to be Tottenham Newcastle, because both sides haven't won a trophy in quite a while. And then the FA Cup, I mean, there's a lot to go there, but you probably have to say Arsenal could be up there, Liverpool could be up there, Manchester City could be involved in the mix, and then that cluster of Premier League teams that are for European contention could very much have ambitions to go for the FA Cup this year to get Europe. Free kick here for Liverpool. Yves Bissouma has been booked for that challenge on Diogo Jota, so a yellow card as well, and a free kick for Liverpool around about the edge of the box. Bit of a distance out for Simicast, about 30 yards as he whips it in, flicked on, and straight at the goalkeeper from Alexis McAllister, who did score from a header against Spurs in the Premier League game, did the Argentinian, but this time that header was glanced right at the keeper's hands and into Kinski. Comfortable gather in the end for him as he sprays the ball out to Spence. Nice combinations by Spurs, but the loose pass by Son given away to Gravenberch. Back with Endo. Has to go all the way back to Alisson. Alisson tries to dart one out to the left flank, but again wasteful from Liverpool on it. Oh, and originally it was a very good touch by Dejan Kulusevski, but in the end just escaped him and Liverpool got away with it. There's been a couple of those. Simicast deemed to have been fired there on that side. Liverpool left back, we'll see it again. Yeah, Simicast maybe just clipped by Brennan Johnson. There's a massive contact in it, but it is a foul. Liverpool get the free kick, but it has been a very stop-start game so far. It's been a game that hasn't really been allowed to get into its rhythm, into its flow so far. I mean, I don't want to keep harping back to that 6-3, but I mean, it's the most relevant and recent example of how these two teams have faced against each other as of recently. And if we compare that game to this one, in the first half of that game there was 18 shots between the two teams. Liverpool had 13 and Spurs had 5. And so far, as I've said, we've had just around about 4 shots. So quite a difference. But of course, the injuries and the stoppages certainly go a long way into changing the kind of rhythm and flow of the game, which, as I said, has been quite disrupted. McAllister does well in the aerial battle. Finds Endo. Now Bradley. Salah leaves it. Jota trying to go for the 1-2 with Salah, but Salah battling there against Gray, but Gray comes out on top and wins that challenge. Liverpool still applying the press as Gray tries to get it clear, and Gravenberch there stepping in but having the last touch, which gets Spurs to throw. Well held by Archie Gray there against Mo Salah. Salah and Jota trying to combine once again for Liverpool in the final third. But an ill-fated attempt so far. There's Jota there on the press up against Kulusevski as Spurs take that throw, and Jota almost winning the ball against Kulusevski, but Spence does well in his duel. And Liverpool win it back again with McAllister. Van Dijk. Jones, back to McAllister. Nice direct play from Liverpool. Jota almost knocked out of his stride there and given away by Liverpool once more. And Spurs trying to break away. Solanke's ball is under hit, but Tsimikas again in a great battle. And it goes back to Alisson. Both teams getting the measure of each other so far. Here's Bradley. He wants to go on a gut-busting run down the right-hand side. And Jed Spence does very well in stopping the Northern Irishman getting too far forward. And just a throw-in for Liverpool. Gravenberch. Back to Van Dijk. Come on, you Spurs, sung around the stadium to enliven their side. To what has been a, as I said, very disrupted first half. The first half where the first goal could massively play a part here is Gakpo trying to link it up with Jota with Tsimikas, but Diogo Jota again too much pace on the ball and was going absolutely nowhere. But a goal kick for Tottenham. And Garner Slot has been once again frustrated by what he's seen from his team in the final third. Albeit they scored 2 against United, but really weren't at their level best at the weekend, Liverpool. From what we've seen already of them this season, just weren't up to scratch. Manchester United played one of their best games of the season at the weekend in terms of their real desire and fight in the game, and they came away with a pretty big point at Anfield considering they hadn't scored in their previous 5 visits at Anfield. United, they scored 2 on Sunday. Bradley in another tussle, does well to keep at it and winning a couple of battles. Not getting very much help from his teammates as Spence there winning the throw-in off Connor Bradley, but certainly been tested as the Liverpool right back so far. Spence to take the throw. Taken down by Solanke, but again Liverpool get control of the situation and have it back now with Wataru Endo. Bradley. Back to Alisson. Now Endo again. Liverpool playing around that Spurs press as Curtis Jones gets nipped on by Bissouma. And the ball taken away from Liverpool again as Kulusevski's ball in behind. Too far ahead of his attackers. And Alisson could recover as McAllister under a challenge from Bergvall. Doesn't win that battle, but in the end comes away with the ball, and now Gakpo up against Johnson. And Johnson gets back and puts it out for a Liverpool throw. So one thing about Spurs, and in an interview before the game, Ange Postecoglou talked about how he wanted his team to be the aggressors. Certainly that's an attribute I would certainly give to Spurs already in this first half. We've seen that aggressive approach from them. Not afraid to throw in challenges, not afraid to get physical in their duels. Certainly at the moment I'd feel that they're probably winning those duels and winning the physical battle so far, Spurs. And at the moment that's keeping Liverpool at bay. Not allowing Liverpool to get into their own rhythm. Here's Gravenberch. Out wide to Gakpo. Overlapping is Tsimikas. Gakpo spotting infield again as he comes back to Gravenberch. Now Endo to Bradley. Back to Wataru Endo, who will in the end just leave it for his captain. Liverpool just trying to get rhythm in their passing in that back four. The only constant from the weekend is Virgil van Dijk. That was the case from the start, with Kwanzaa, Bradley and Tsimikas all the three of the four changes. Three of the back four changed from the weekend, and another change tonight in game, with Wataru Endo having to come in for Jarell Kwanzaa, who picked up that injury. Here is Van Dijk. Gravenberch. Nice turn by Ryan Gravenberch. Back to Endo. 3.5 minutes of the first half, or well, of the 45 minutes to go. We'll have quite a long stoppage time before the half-time whistle will be blown by the referee Stuart Atwell. Endo trying to swing a switch ball, but doesn't get anywhere near enough pace on that one, and it just goes straight out of play for a throw. Saw the gap out to Cody Gakpo, the space that he had on that left side, and just couldn't pull off the execution of the pass in the end. And Liverpool ultimately had given the ball back to Spurs, but Spurs returned the favour, as they probably have done all night, really. Neither side's really been able to get a grip of this first half. The Liverpool fans can be heard in that corner to the top left of where the camera position is, and you can hear them singing in memory of that Champions League final that these two met in back in 2019 in Madrid, which Liverpool got their 6th Champions League trophy. Lovely cute feet by Jota. Skips away from a few challenges. Here's Salah on the break. Big chance for Liverpool as they come forward. Gakpo now. Tsimikas on the overlap. Here's Kostas Tsimikas with a cut back. Well defended by Bergvall as he clears it out, but Gakpo will keep it in play. It's better from Liverpool. McAllister now starts to step across and is fouled there by Dejan Kulusevski, and that will be a Liverpool free kick. It's the first real positive glimpse of Liverpool that we've seen. That free-flowing, rhythmical football where Jota just skipped past a few challenges. I mean, fabulous play, and then Salah gets a lot of space in the more central area again, plays it to Gakpo, and then finds the overlap of Tsimikas. And the cutback just well dealt with by Bergvall, but much more better movement from Liverpool. Another set piece then for Liverpool. A bit closer than the earlier one, which ended up in a shot on target from the Tsimikas delivery. And this one we'll see if Liverpool can go one better. Tsimikas, the one that will take it again, will whip it in with the left boot, and off a Spurs head right into the box it comes, as Spurs had all the contact there as they clear it away. Back with Bradley for Liverpool, who will just usher it back to his goalkeeper. Quite composed there. Again, that whip ball by Tsimikas was dealt with by Spurs this time. Had all the contact in the box, and they got it clear. Tsimikas back to Bradley, as Liverpool just try and revert back to position from that set piece. Now Van Dijk back in. Centre back as we're about to hit the 45-minute mark. We'll see how long will be added on. It's around 9 or 10 minutes. And it will be 11 minutes of added time. So that long stoppage for Rodrigo Bentancur's injury, and then that little stoppage for Jarell Kwanzaa as well, has led to what will be 11 added minutes in the first half. So a long way to go before the half time. Tsimikas behind again. This time not anywhere near enough. Close enough to Curtis Jones. Goal kick. There's two Scottish Premiership games on this evening. that are half-time. They were 7:45 kickoffs, so the second halves in those will be getting underway shortly. Ange Postecoglou's former team in Celtic, the league leaders in Scotland, they're leading by a goal to nil against third place Dundee United at the moment. Dyson Maeda with the goal, and it's 0-0 between Kilmarnock and Motherwell. There's Liverpool on the press again. Gravenberch there, missed the ball actually as he come through there, and Bradley gets back in and shoves Kulishevsky out of the way and wins it back. Bradley, Gravenberch goes back to Wataru Endo. It was a good challenge by Connor Bradley. Liverpool could have been in trouble, and he got the measure of it well. Tsimikas out to Gakpo on the left. Back to Jota now. Also on that left-hand side. Back to McAllister. Threads it through for Tsimikas. Tsimikas with a cross. Away by Radru Dragusin. And it will be a Liverpool throw. Liverpool starting to take a bit more control of the game now. Starting to see a bit more composure on the ball from Liverpool. Just getting into their shape, into their rhythm, into the momentum of the game. Van Dijk. Endo. Around about the halfway line of the two Liverpool centre-backs. Van Dijk strides forward a slight bit. Gets it to McAllister, who feeds it out wide to Gakpo. Gakpo up against his man, and Porro steps across him. Tries to shoot, but Porro does well in the block. And it comes away back for Liverpool to retrieve. In the last 5 minutes, Liverpool have had 14 passes in the final third compared to Spurs' 3. So starting to see that shift in control of territory for Liverpool. And Diogo Jota there in a challenge with Kulishevsky and winning his side a throw. We've seen Jota drop a bit deeper at times tonight. That's where Liverpool have probably had one of their very good chances forward. That's a lovely ball forward into Gakpo here down this left, up against Porro, takes his man on, tries to get it across. Salah takes it, delays it, but has the shot over the bar with his right foot. Again, that long ball from Liverpool switched out to Gakpo. Wonderful ball, and then Gakpo just bit of a burst of pace, gets past Porro, cuts it back into the box for Salah around about the penalty area. Can't control it really the first time to take the shot with his left. He has to drag it onto his right, and then as he takes it with his right, just doesn't catch it right, and it goes over the bar for a goal kick. Liverpool starting to create a few chances now. Salah, lovely combination with Jota again. Jota runs into trouble, can't get the ball back off Spence. Here's Bergvall. Now Kulishevsky rolls it through for Bissouma. Nice 1-2 with Son. Bissouma, lovely football by Spurs, and Bergvall. Out wide it goes to the right. Here's Brennan Johnson, edging a space, but blocked again by Liverpool as he got towards the box. And a loose pass by McAllister, given away. Jota there in a challenge, wins the challenge up against his man and plays it through for Gakpo. And now Salah's trying to run through. Gakpo's here with the ball. Got two Spurs players in front of him. And Gakpo had that shot saved by Antonin Kinski. Again, it's Jota again winning the physical tussle. Gakpo comes away with the ball, slightly pushed by Porro, and as Dragusin tries to cover him off from the shot and drag him away from goal, he unleashes a shot, does Gakpo. It bounces right in front of the keeper. And Kinski, I'm sure happy to see that ball not find its way past him and gather it comfortably. He's had a okay start to the evening as Antonin Kinski in his debut. Up to this point anyway, is a long ball. Tries to use his distribution. Beautiful touch by Son. Finds Solanke. But Solanke with his own skill, that puts it out of play. Not only just able to save the ball, Kinski, but a lovely bit of distribution to find Son up against the Liverpool defence. Here's Gakpo for Liverpool. Good challenge by Porro. Good battle by Tsimikas, but it will go out for a Spurs goal kick as that last touch came off. The Liverpool left back. So you're right to play 6 minutes of the 11 added, so another 5 minutes to go of the first half. Still 0-0. We did say beforehand that a 0-0 is rather unlikely in this fixture, but certainly it has been recently between these two. It's one of the highest scoring fixtures in English football, but Spurs haven't had a 0-0 draw in quite a long time under Ange Postecoglou. Tsimikas takes the throw in straight to Curtis Jones in midfield. Finds Endo. Jones again. Van Dijk threads it through to McAllister. Now down the left comes Gakpo. Space here for Liverpool again. Gakpo doesn't look for the overlap, goes for the shot, but over the bar. And again, it was better for McAllister, picking up that little space in between the midfield and the defence of Spurs. And he feeds it out to Gakpo, and Gakpo, we've seen it already this season, his thread off that left-hand side. And the shot this time just sailing over the bar. Just feel at the moment the game's slightly edging in Liverpool's favour, but still goalless, which keeps everything on tender hooks. Alisson out to Bradley. We'll go long again, looking for Jota. Dragusin wins the first header. Salah tried to go first time to switch it across, but just give that ball straight back to Pedro Porro. Gray finds a nice ball forward, but Son's pass intercepted by Bradley. Connor Bradley now, down the right, trying to find Jota. Well dealt with by Dragusin. Spurs have it back with Bissouma now. All the way back now to Porro. He's got space here, Pedro Porro. Finds it forward. Bernard Johnson, but again forcing that pass around the corner and just about keeping that to Spurs, but Liverpool were ever so close to winning it back. Oh, here's Spence though, who's found a bit of space to break forward. Out to Son on the left. Heung-min Son with a cross to Bergvall with a header, but not much pace on that one by Lucas Bergvall. Easily, comfortably gathered by Alisson. Ian says 2-0 to Liverpool. Well, remember, this is just the first leg, so there will be a return leg at Anfield in 4 weeks' time. So it's not do or die tonight. And that's waiting for the ball was Jota, and in his challenge, Gravenberch wins the ball back. No foul, says the referee. The Spurs fans not particularly happy with that decision, but Jota comes away with it. Here's Salah. Salah now finds to Curtis Jones. Jones to Gakpo. Gakpo across. Dealt with by Gray. Back to Jones though. He's still in the box. Nice Tsimikas. Gakpo wide left. Flag stays down. The Spurs players want it offside called, but the Liverpool play still continues. Jones's cross was cleared away. Bradley. About a minute or so to go of the first half, and Liverpool starting to create a bit of proper control in the game. Another cross into the box, cleared away by Jed Spence again, but it's at the moment Liverpool on the attack and Spurs having to do their defensive work at the moment. Endo out to Bradley. 1-2 with Gravenberch. Back to Endo. Gravenberch, again Endo. Looking for options. Finds Van Dijk. Now to Tsimikas. Infield to Gravenberch. Tries to force it through the middle McAllister went a bit early on his run, but Curtis Jones wins it back. McAllister to Gakpo now. Gakpo cuts it back for Jota. Shot charged down. Jota again trying to find a way through, but is well marshalled by Pedro Porro, and a goal kick for Spurs. And that might just be the end of the first half. After that opportunity. And there it is, the half-time whistle. Certainly not a scoreline that you would have predicted after 56 minutes of play. But that's the joys of football sometimes. In this first half, it's been more about the disruption with injuries than anything. Both sides with half chances, but nothing really clear-cut in front of goal from either team. Not as you would have expected it. But at half-time in North London, in the first leg of the semi-final, it is Tottenham 0, Liverpool 0. Analysis on the way next. Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. Half-time at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is Spurs 0, Liverpool 0 at the break. And now the side able to find the back of the nets in that first half. They certainly racked up the shots as the half came to an end. They started to find a better rhythm towards the end of the half. But no goals between the two after a very disrupted first kind of 20-30 minutes of the game, with Rodrigo Bentancur's injury and Joel Kwanzaa having to go off as well. So both sides have had to deal with injuries in that first half, which Spurs are all too used to in the last few weeks, with a lot of their first teamers out coming into tonight's game, and has been the case for the last number of weeks. And Ange Postecoglou hoping to get those players back as soon as possible. A couple of them towards the end of this month is the most likely case for those. Liverpool have had injuries, of course, themselves. Centre-back is turning into a bit of an issue for Liverpool, with Joe Gomez is out injured now after picking up an injury a few weeks ago. Ibrahim Konate is just back from an injury. He made his first start since injury against United on Sunday, so he's on the bench this evening. But Wataru Endo has come in replacement of Joel Kwanzaa at centre-back for Liverpool, and Brennan Johnson on for Rodrigo Bentancur. So some tweaks from both teams due to injuries in the first half. But I'd say overall, I think towards the end of the first half, Liverpool started to take a bit more control. But I think ultimately Spurs have done everything they probably needed to do in that first half. They didn't really allow Liverpool into their rhythm or allow the momentum of the game to swing in the visitors' favour in that first half. I think Liverpool really struggled with passing at times. I mentioned it in the first half against Manchester United. They were really kind of off it with their passing. Too short, too long, not finding their target, and we saw that early in the game. Tonight, where Liverpool did get a bit loose, they gave away a few balls. Costa Tsimikas gave one away. Joel Kwanzaa himself gave away a chance as well before having to come off injured. But there was one or two loose passes where Liverpool just looked a bit lacking composure on the ball. But I think as the half went on, they settled into the game, Liverpool, as the half went on, and they started to take control. Towards the end of that half, vast majority of it was in the 11 minutes of added time which we had due to the injury stoppages. But I think Ange Postecoglou, I don't think we'll be particularly happy that the Spurs side haven't really been able to take much of their chances or to create more chances in that first half. But what I would say is, from a Liverpool point of view, it's kind of a mixed bag from the first half. They were poor in the first 20-30 minutes. And I think they improved towards the last 15, 20 minutes of that half, where they were probably the better side and probably could have taken the lead if they were a bit more threatening with their chances in the final third. One or two half chances, but nothing of real great note, which would concern Spurs fans or the Spurs manager at half time. I think really the debutant goalkeeper Antonin Kinski has actually done pretty well, albeit not really asked many questions in the first half, as he'll been allowed by Liverpool to settle in and kind of get his grips to the game, making his debut this evening. But I think from a Liverpool point of view, that will be a disappointment. The fact that they haven't tested a goalkeeper who's having his debut tonight, will be nervous, will be kind of not the most confident in the position that he's in the position having his debut tonight. But Liverpool really haven't tested that enough in that first half, but I'm sure something to work on for the second half. But overall, I did mention it from Spurs in that first half. They were very aggressive, and I think that was another factor into why Liverpool kind of gave the ball away and were very sloppy with their play in that first half, because the aggressive press of Spurs put pressure on Liverpool, forced them to make mistakes, put them in positions where they had to make that direct pass. Otherwise, Spurs were there and they were waiting for you. And we saw it a couple of times with that intensity of the press, that aggressiveness that we saw from Spurs paid dividends at times in winning the ball back, keeping Liverpool under pressure, not allowing them to get into the rhythm of their own game in possession. And it just kind of made it so that Liverpool just really couldn't get much joy against Spurs in possession. Out of possession, I think that's what got Liverpool back into the game. They kind of settled a bit more and didn't allow Spurs as many chances at the other end, and ultimately settled into the game in their possession stats, Liverpool. But overall, maybe Spurs could have done a bit more whenever they were at the more aggressive side, and they were slightly the more dominant of the two teams in that first 20 minutes or so. But I would say the scoreline fairly reflects the first half, to be honest, because no goals. Can't really say that there should have been goals, but the goalkeeper for Spurs has done well. Alisson's had a couple of things to do, but nothing of too incredible, such incredible note that they're absolute wonder saves. They're good saves from both players, both goalkeepers, but not much action other than that. Last night we had a great game in our other semi-final between Arsenal and Newcastle, where Newcastle came out 2-0 victors in the first leg, of course setting up what would be a very good advantage to have in the second leg against Arsenal at St James's Park in 28 days time, when they take on Arsenal again on the 5th of February, and a chance to go to another final in the Carabao Cup under Eddie Howe, which is quite a story for Newcastle, considering they'd really been up and down this season. They've had a roller coaster, a topsy-turvy season where they had that really good start, not performing well, but had really good results, and then kind of have been inconsistent, and then that 7-game winning run now in all competitions for Newcastle has them on in great form and great stakes to try and push themselves towards another final, the first of which they narrowly missed out on and lost to Manchester United in 2023, but would love another final in 2025. They haven't won a trophy since in 70 years, Newcastle, which is quite a long time when you think about it. For Arsenal, of course, won the FA Cup with Mikel Arteta in 2020, but there's been a lot of questions recently about Mikel Arteta and kind of the output of the team in terms of trophies. As of recent years, for Arsenal, they've not been maybe doing as well as you probably would have expected for a team in the 6th season under a manager. But we'll see how Arsenal and Newcastle go in that return leg in a couple of weeks' time. The two goal scorers last night, Alexander Isak, who scored 14 goals in his last 15 appearances, incredible record, that incredible form that he is in. Alexander Isak and of course Anthony Gordon, who scored against Spurs at the weekend, scored again last night with a lovely poacher's finish. That set up that 2-goal advantage for Newcastle to head into the second leg. Something of which either of these two teams are watching tonight, Tottenham and Liverpool, would love to have going into the second leg, whether it be Spurs and taking a 2-goal lead to Anfield for Liverpool to try and overcome, or Liverpool taking a 2-goal lead back to their home stadium with a chance to finish the job in the second leg. But we'll see what we can get from these two teams. We're hoping for goals. I didn't think that before the game tonight at half-time I would be hoping we would see goals in this game. I was expecting goals, but so far we have seen absolutely none so far tonight between Spurs and Liverpool. But let's not get ourselves too excited so far. Right, the second half between Spurs and Liverpool is around about 5 minutes away, so do join us in a couple of minutes where we'll get ready to start the second half, and we'll look ahead to the weekends because there's FA Cup action on the horizon. That's coming next. Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. A couple of minutes away from the second half in North London between Spurs and Liverpool, where it is goalless at the moment. But looking ahead to the weekends, obviously the second legs of this competition, the semi-finals, aren't until the start of February, so a while to go between now and then. We've a lot of action to come between then. Champions League football in January for the first time ever. It's coming up in a few weeks' time. The Premier League have lots of action to come for you next midweek. But at the weekend, it is the FA Cup's turn as all the Premier League teams enter in the third round. At the weekend, we're looking forward to seeing Premier League sides in action. It all starts tomorrow night, actually, as there's some Thursday night action, but we will have action from Friday. We start on Friday night as Aston Villa take on West Ham United Friday at 8 o'clock in an all Premier League tie at Villa Park. Looking forward to that one. Aston Villa at the moment a bit up and down with their form. West Ham sacking their manager this afternoon, Julian Lopetegui. So looking forward to seeing how a West Ham team without a permanent manager, although they could have a new one in time for that game in 2 days' time. You never know. With the talks of Graham Potter taking charge, but that is yet to be confirmed or ratified by West Ham. So Julian Lopetegui out, but who will be in for West Ham as they take on Villa on Friday night? Then on Saturday lunchtime we will watch Liverpool in action again there at Anfield as they take on Accrington Stanley. The League 2 side head to Anfield Saturday 12:15. Here on LFS, a strange kickoff time, but at 12:15 the kickoff, and lots of Saturday action as well there for you. And on Sunday, that big one, so we head back to the Emirates as Arsenal take on Manchester United, which is going to be set up to be an absolute cracker in the third round of the FA Cup on Sunday, 3 o'clock. So some interesting kickoffs, but Sunday, 3 o'clock, Arsenal against Manchester United. And as I was just mentioning about West Ham United, I did say that Julian Lopetegui out and whoever in, well, according to reports at the moment, it looks to be Graham Potter, who is very likely to becoming the next West Ham head coach. And I'm sure we'll see a full confirmation of that very shortly, I'm guessing. But we will see. And he might be in charge for that FA Cup game on Friday, which we will be watching. So join us for that. Right, second half between Spurs and Liverpool in this cup competition in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup is on the way next. Welcome back to Carabao Cup Live. The Spurs players out on the fields and the Liverpool players just returning as I speak to you. And don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That'd be greatly appreciated. And we thank you for joining us this evening. A quick shout out to Gillian Ames, who joined as a hardcore fan. Thank you very much for joining. Right, almost ready for the second half then. Here in North London as Arne Slot comes out for the second half. And I'm sure Arne Slot will be wanting to see more from his team than what he saw in the first half. First half where Liverpool really couldn't get into their rhythm until probably the last 10-15 minutes of the first half. A very different first half than what we saw in December. And it was 3-1 to Liverpool at the break. But they come out goalless in the second half and with work to do if they want to take a lead back to the northwest for 4 weeks' time. As we get back underway then for the second 45. Well, Liverpool scored 6 goals in that Premier League game in last month. The last English team to score 7 goals or more away to Spurs in a single campaign was Arsenal, and they scored that back in 2010-11. The most the team has scored at Spurs in a single season is 8, and that was done by Chelsea back in 2001-2 season, 24 years ago. That was done. No substitutions at half time, by the way. So both sides as you were between first and second half so far. As Bergvall won the header from the Tsimikas throw. Tsimikas gets the ball back and thumps it forward, which Jota will control with his head against Dragusin, and goes down and wins a free kick off the Spurs centre back. Does the Portuguese centre forward. McAllister wanted to take the free kick quickly. The referee wasn't allowing it, and they're having a conversation about that at the moment at the tee there. And Liverpool do take that free kick. Endo, Bradley back to Alisson. Into Endo. Now Liverpool have had the most goals in the Premier League in the second half. Spurs are close seconds, both over 40 goals in the second half of Premier League teams in all of their games this season. 47 for Liverpool, 42 for Spurs. So we might have had a goalless first half, but on the way stats are going this season, it looks like we might have a goal-filled second half. I'm hoping for some goals at least. Here's Solanke up against Tsimikas, gets that battle and gets the ball forward to Brennan Johnson. He tried to beat past Van Dijk, but not many can do that, and Brennan Johnson failed in his attempt on that occasion. Although has gone down, so might have been slightly caught by Van Dijk, but the referee saw it with no issue. Here is Kostas Tsimikas. Across to Endo. Now Bradley. Into Gravenberch. Wants to switch the ball, but just too much. Out to Cody Gakpo. Throw into Spurs. Again, similar themes from Liverpool. There's just those sloppy, loose passes. Not going to where they want to go. This comes back to Kinski. Again, uses his distribution. Tried to find Jed Spence. Bradley was the one that won the header, but goes out for a Spurs throw on that left-hand side. Spence challenged there by Diogo Jota, and another foul given the way of Spurs. Just around about the halfway line. Taken quickly here, Spence. Down the left side, surrounded by a few Liverpool players, and surrenders the ball to Liverpool possession now. Here's Curtis Jones. Back to Bradley. Time Spurs have really squeezed Liverpool in the midfield areas. Up until really the end of that first half, we didn't really see much creative play between the Liverpool midfielders. As Bradley almost gets the ball caught under his feet and was under pressure by Son. Had to be helped out there by Ryan Gravenberch. In cover. And Liverpool will get the throw. Confused as to what the Spurs fans were not happy with. They weren't happy with something that the referee didn't give in their favour as Liverpool took that throw in. Here's Tsimikas. And McAllister skips away from the challenge. Kulusevski now. Jones out to Salah. Salah on the right hand side. Salah to lift it in, and Gakpo just over his head. Goal kick. Again, Salah with another attempt of a delivery. Just that little bit too high for Cody Gakpo. But it was a good move by Liverpool. They played it into McAllister, who did well to progress the ball forward to Jones. And Jones gave it out to Salah on the right hand side. And as Salah drove back in field, he tried to cross it into the box to Gakpo, who just couldn't reach the ball. It's a yard or two too high. And Van Dijk there takes no risks. And that long ball and puts it out for a Spurs throw. And Solanke wanted to steal a few yards, as the referee didn't allow. And I think that's probably why the Spurs fans weren't happy a few minutes ago. I think they thought Liverpool had stolen a few too many yards, and now the referee going against them on their throw-in is causing frustration, as Porro just about kept it in. And that side, here's Gray. Now to Spence. Son having to retreat back with the ball to keep possession with Gray now. And Dragoshin. Brennan Johnson. Very aggressive approach from Kostas Tsimikas to win the challenge, but filing Brennan Johnson, and gives away the free kick. Came rushing out there, did Kostas Tsimikas, and he did catch Brennan Johnson. And there's a foul. Yeah, and then as he tried to get back to the ball there, Kostas Tsimikas, he might have just stood on. Yeah, he did stand on Brennan Johnson. It's accidental. I'm sure a painful one for Spurs player. They take that free kick, try to switch it out to the left, and the bounce caught out their captain Heung-min Son. Out for a throw. Again, a stop-start disrupted start to the second half as well here. A lot of throw-ins, a lot of free kicks, not much real attacking football so far. First few minutes of the second half. Here's Bissouma. Nice ball through to Jed Spence. Down the left-hand side he comes. Out to Son. Son going for the early cross, but that one evading Dominic Solanke and gathered well by Alisson. Here's Endo. To Bradley. Tried to step across his man, but blocked out by Son, and another throw in for Liverpool. This will be the 35th throw in of the game. There's been quite a lot of them. And Bradley's taking his time from this one, which isn't making the Spurs fans happy. And the throw in given away by Liverpool in the end. Kulusevski. Dragoshin. To Bergvall. Again, under pressure from his pass, but it's given away. The quality in this game certainly lacking at the moment. No disrespect to either team, but I don't think they would particularly say that it's been a great quality game. Both sides have been lacking in certain moments. Tsimikas with a smart idea to find Gakpo from the throw-in. That's nice play. Here's Salah entering the box for Liverpool. Try to pass it back to Bradley, but blocked. But Salah gets it back. And has to go back to Gravenberch. That was a smart idea by Kostas Tsimikas from the throw-in. It almost worked out. Salah loose with his first touch. Now Spence to retrieve the ball, and Bradley with a challenge. Puts it out for a Spurs throw. Spence to take the throw, straight down the line to Son, who's right on the tail of Wataru Endo there. Those two tussling, and a foul committed there by Curtis Jones. Another Spurs free kick. Gakpo back defending for Liverpool, gives it back to Alisson, who almost gets pressed upon by Lucas Bergvall and then gives it away. Van Dijk making the challenge, and the follow-up is wide by Porro. Oh my goodness me. Alisson playing, I don't know what he's doing in his own box. Bergvall with the first press, Alisson gets away with it, and then he strides out a bit too calmly. Far too calmly, no awareness whatsoever what's around him. Van Dijk has to engage. And Liverpool, again, sloppy. And Alisson just far too casual in his own box. But Spurs not able to capitalise. And Pedro Porro missing an absolute gift of a chance. And Ange Postecoglou punches the ground in disbelief in missing that chance. That is massive. And as what has been such a tight game so far, that is a big miss by Spurs. Gravenberch. Nice hold up in midfield. Finds Bradley. Now out to Salah on the right. Jones. Back to Van Dijk. Endo. Gravenberch. Back to Salah on the right hand side. That's those type of things this game has been tonight. It's been one of those games where it's been nervy from both teams at times. And Liverpool certainly the sloppier of the two teams on more occasions. And at times almost gifting Spurs opportunities. Here's Tsimikas. Back to McAllister. Playing between the lines is Gakpo. Back to McAllister again. As Liverpool try and ebb away at this Spurs defence. Here's Salah. Trying to go for the link up with Jones. But again, well blocked by Jed Spence. And Liverpool readying changes. Darwin Nunez and Luis Diaz are the two that are getting themselves ready on the sidelines. So attacking changes incoming from Arne Slot, who I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't happy at all with what he's seen from his team so far. Sloppiness, something I'm sure he will be very acutely aware of and trying to solve. Here's Salah. Salah forcing very heavy ball towards McAllister, couldn't control it first time. Bradley retrieving back in a fantastic challenge to win it back for Liverpool. There's a Spurs player on the floor, but the referee saw no foul as here comes Bradley. To Salah. Salah will cross. Oh! Tried to beat the keeper. Antonin Kinski had good hands there. Had to adjust because Salah's cross turned into a bit of a shot in the end, and that could have caught out the keeper. And he did well. He was ever so close to doing it. That was good adjustment by the Spurs keeper. It was Heung-min Son that was the victim of that challenge from Conor Bradley, but I have to say it was an absolute cracker of a challenge. Absolutely fabulous. It's reminiscent of that challenge that he made on Kylian Mbappe in that Champions League game. And Liverpool are going to make 3 changes at this moment, and that will be Conor Bradley's last real involvement in the game, because he's coming off for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Diogo Jota is going to be replaced by Darwin Núñez, and Liverpool's third substitution tonight, or third in this 3 substitution phase, will be Cody Gakpo. So Gakpo, Jota and Bradley all off, all replaced by Núñez, Diaz and Alexander-Arnold. So more to what has been seen recently for Liverpool in terms of first choice options, with Alexander-Arnold not often benched. That poor performance against United maybe part of the reason as to why, but Arne Slot didn't hint towards that at all in his pre-match interview. Said minutes was the reason, and now Alexander-Arnold on to play the last 30 minutes of the game, as Dominic Solanke was fouled there by Virgil van Dijk. Just, kind of caught there slightly. It is a foul, and it's definitely a free kick for Spurs, as they've already taken, but given it away to Tsimikas, who tried to feed it in behind for Núñez, but just a bit too much, as Dragusin got back to his keeper. Kinski, under pressure from Núñez, forced long, which Van Dijk wins the header. Jones linking up with Alexander-Arnold. Now out to Curtis Jones again. Alexander-Arnold with a switch ball. Out to Diaz, the 2 substitutes linking up. Tsimikas to deliver into the box, and Núñez with a header. This time, similar to McAllister's in the first half, straight at the goalkeeper. But no real worry for Kinski. Good cross by Tsimikas, but the header comfortable enough for the Spurs goalkeeper. As Liverpool apply the press from the Spurs goal kick. And that's McAllister involved there. Spurs won the throw-in, which Liverpool were a bit confused by, but the decision by the officials is a Spurs throw. Porro will take on this right-hand side for Spurs. Long throw in, flicked on by Solanke, but not kept by Brennan Johnson. And Van Dijk just keeping it alive with Endo. Back with Alisson. And now Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold over the top. Looking for Núñez on the back of the defence. Núñez here. Gets it across. Not enough pace on it to get towards Diaz. And another comfortable gather by Kinski. But the substitutes for Liverpool maybe starting to make a little bit of a difference. That was the 3 substitutes almost combining there for Liverpool. Alexander-Arnold to Núñez, and Núñez trying to find Diaz. Gravenberch wins the header in the middle. Jones linking it up with McAllister now. Now Curtis Jones out wide to Alexander-Arnold. Not in a hurry to get the pass off. Jones now will find Salah down the right. Back to Alexander-Arnold, sorry. Jones again. Bodies in the box for Liverpool, not eyeing up the cross this time. Gravenberch to Endo, now wide to Alexander-Arnold, who will cross it low. Cleared away by Spurs. Gravenberch keeps it alive on the edge of the box. Jones, Gravenberch, try to force it through, but Archie Gray intercepting and breaking forward here, and plays a nice ball into the space for Kulusevski. Brennan Johnson arriving. Kulusevski across. Good block by Van Dijk. Still alive for Kulusevski though, as he had to bring it back to Porro, as there was a few Spurs players in there, and Darwin Núñez gets back to put it out for a Spurs throw. That was really really kind of intelligent from Archie Gray. Spots the gap, kind of strides forward, takes his opportunity and plays a lovely ball to Kulusevski into a space where Spurs could exploit Liverpool on that break and get themselves up the field from that situation. Porro, nice 1-2. Here's Kulusevski on the right to Bergvall. Bergvall with a cross, way by Alexander-Arnold at the back post. Back with Archie Gray though. Spurs keep possession for the moment. Just over 25 minutes to go of normal time. Jones battling there with Basuma. Jones deemed to have the last touch. Another Spurs throw in. "25 minutes to go. Still goalless, but remember, a second leg to come in 4 weeks' time. So the game will not be decided tonight. The tie will not be decided tonight, as it was last night as well. Both will come to a second leg at St James's Park and at Anfield to decide the finalists for this year's competition. That was good work by Gravenberch under pressure. Tsimikas will switch it to his opposite fullback in Alexander-Arnold. Crosses the halfway line, finds Jones. Nice Salah. Salah back to Curtis Jones. Jones across. Nunez couldn't get it. Diaz here. Can't get a shot off. And the deflection from the eventual pass by Diaz straight into the keeper's hands. Again, it was nice play through the middle, or down the right by Liverpool. From Alexander-Arnold to Jones and Salah. The ball ends up coming across. Nunez, whether he left it on purpose or not, I don't think he did, but couldn't get on the end of it. And Diaz there, a bit caught surprised that he did get the ball and couldn't really get the shot off and get his feet in order. And that just fizzled out. Although Alexander-Arnold tries to play one through for Diaz, but saw the space in front of him and put too much pace on the ball. The Trent Alexander-Arnold's goal kick. What I would say from a Liverpool point of view, I have seen tonight there have been moments where they have found space in behind Spurs. It's the lack of their own quality has maybe let them down in those places, because for that moment there, as Alexander-Arnold and Diaz tried to link up, if that pass was the right pace, Diaz could have been very much in. And that's maybe the difference between the two games, where maybe there is still that space there, it's just Liverpool aren't exploiting it well enough. But here comes Spurs up the other end. Here's Kulusevski. Tries to dart it across, but well closed out by McAllister, and Diaz skips away from a challenge, keeps it in play and goes down under another challenge, this time Bergvall, and it's going to be a yellow card for Lucas Bergvall for that challenge on Luis Diaz, and a Liverpool free kick. Yeah, Diaz did well to skip past the Porro challenge and then come sliding across to Bergvall. Felt that there wasn't much contact, and yeah, to be fair, there actually wasn't really. To be honest, Ange Postecoglou making that claim as well, pleading with the referee, but the official said foul and a yellow card for the Spurs midfielder. Slightly harsh. Van Dijk. Alisson under pressure from Bergvall again. He doesn't want to toy about with Bergvall once more, as he almost gifted him a chance earlier in the game from the press. I have to say it's been a fairly even second half, I would have to say, between the two. Liverpool have had more possession, but both teams have, again, not really tested either goalkeeper. Here's Salah to find Nunez. Good shot, good save. That was better from Liverpool. Salah and Nunez combining there. Nunez unable to find it past the goalkeeper, but that will give Liverpool confidence heading towards the final 20 minutes that there is room and space where they can exploit Spurs. As Alexander-Arnold over the top, just a bit much to Salah. The keeper was alert, and he had to be on that occasion. But see it again. Lovely play by Salah. Just drags his defender out of position and just kind of rolls it through for Nunez on the angle. As Nunez comes onto it, he strikes it, but the keeper commands the area well. And Kinski and makes a good save. It's probably one of the Liverpool's best creative chances, although here comes Spurs again. It's end-to-end at the moment. Porro across. Away by Endo. And Alexander-Arnold will clear it away. And will find it. Switched out to Nunez. And get Liverpool on the front foot again. Maybe we might have a blistering last 20 minutes. Who knows? Gravenberch. Alexander-Arnold now. Salah with space, but he finds Curtis Jones in the half space, but a poor ball by Jones dispossesses Liverpool, although a poor ball by Porro dispossesses Spurs. Here comes Jones. Now Nunez. 1-2 link up with Diaz. Nunez not given the space to find the shot. Will feed it wide to Alexander-Arnold. First time cross. Away by Dragusin. Kept alive by Gravenberch. Endo. Liverpool's starting to sustain attacks now, which we've barely seen all night from them. Van Dijk. Wide to Diaz. Back infield to Jones. And wide again to Tsimikas. Tsimikas with a cross. Bit too overhit. Comes out to Alexander-Arnold, who's cleared off the line. And McAllister. Just wide. Ever so close. And Radu Dragusin clears it off the line from the Alexander-Arnold shot. Tsimikas with a cross. Too much on it. Goes right out the other end for Alexander-Arnold. In the box. Hits it first time. Clean as you like, the strike from Alexander-Arnold. And Radu Dragusin on the line. Makes sure it doesn't cross the line. And then McAllister's follow-up shot goes wide. And there's no touch there, so it's a goal kick. But that's ever so close. Ever so close. That could be a huge moment. As was the Pedro Porro miss earlier in the game for Spurs. That could be a huge moment. Not taken by Liverpool. As Heung-min Son is going to be coming off here for Spurs. With 70 gone. It'll be Kulishevsky who will be the captain for the end of the game. And replacing Son is going to be Timo Werner. So Werner on, Son off, so a straight swap out in that left-hand side. See what Timo Werner can do to make a difference to Spurs late on. Long ball forward. Van Dijk wins the header. Jones controls it, but can't keep it under control and puts it out for a Spurs throw. Well, Spurs have lost their last two League Cup games against the holders of the competition, which Liverpool are this evening, of course, heading into this one. And most recently in the 2021 final against Man City. The last time they beat the League Cup holders was in the 2008 final, which was their last trophy win in 2008, and it was the 2-1 win against Chelsea. So that could be monumentous. McAllister now to Tsimikas. A bit of a heavy touch, but he's allowed the space to keep it alive. Here's Diaz. Into the box he comes, flicks it for Tsimikas. Tried to cut it back, well blocked by Porro. Diaz battling. Lost his tussle with Kulishevsky. Here's Porro. Liverpool keep the press on, and in the end Porro is fouled by Liverpool and a free kick for Tottenham. In the Scottish Premiership games this evening, the league leaders in Scotland, Celtic, won by 2-0 against Dundee United. Reo Hatate with the second goal for Celtic, and they are at the moment 16 points clear of Rangers. Rangers play tomorrow night, and Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 0. They're still going in the last minute or so there in the Scottish Premiership. Good play there by Spurs. Dragic space to manoeuvre into, but Alexander-Arnold comes across and gets Liverpool back in possession. Finds it through to McAllister. Not given much space, but he tried to rescue it forward, but couldn't make anything out of it. And given away as Alexander-Arnold has work to do against Werner. Can't get really back in as Endo has to cover. And Werner! The shot hits the side netting. Goal kick. Yeah, Alexander-Arnold tries his best to get back into position. Not much cover really on that side from Liverpool, and Werner given the time and space to break forward. And in the end, his shot comes to nothing. From a Liverpool point of view, I'm sure they're thankful that it came to nothing. They were in a bit of bother there. We're Liverpool. No damage done. With 15 minutes to go here in the first leg. Still goalless. The last goalless draw between Spurs and Liverpool was in Jurgen Klopp's first game in charge of the Reds back in 2015. Here's Nunez to Diaz. Lots of Spurs bodies in and around the box. Diaz tried to flick it over the top, but not on the same page was Mo Salah. And a goal kick will come. Well, Liverpool have had more shots on target in the second half than the first half, but both halves they've had more shots than Liverpool. We haven't been able to find a goal from any of them at the moment. Neither have Spurs from their lesser chances. Both sides have lacked in quality in the final third tonight, which is not something you were expecting to hear coming into this one. The ball over the top. Solanke's running behind, though. This is a good chance for Spurs. Solanke! The flag stays down, and the former Liverpool player scores against his former club to give Spurs the lead in the semi-final. Tottenham, who have missed some big chances tonight, but when you give a chance to Dominic Solanke at the moment, he is going to slot it and give Tottenham the lead. And what is a crucial moment late in this semi-final first leg. Whether he's onside or not, maybe Alexander might be just playing him on. But he does well to get off the back of Wataru Endo. The ball, the pass is fantastic, and VAR might have their first involvement of the night here to see this. But that is a wonderful finish. Cool, calm, composed. And Alisson couldn't do very much in the end, really, with a type of finish like that. But we'll have to wait and see. The lines might be coming out here. It's a tight one. Let's see what they have to say. The goal is being checked for a possible offside. And this could be huge. A huge moment in the semi-final. It will be Alexander-Arnold who will have either played him on or off. He is the last man for Liverpool. Whether Solanke is offside or onside will be determined in a matter of moments, hopefully. They are drawing the lines. There's a VAR, Paul Tierney. And the decision is offside, I believe. And Stuart Atwell will get that decision relayed in his earpiece at the moment. And from the looks of it, it's offside, from what they've declared. And he will now be given that information. Oh. He's not been given that information yet. Stuart Atwell's probably the last person to know, really. And the decision, and he will announce the decision. And Stuart Atwell declares that to a stadium which doesn't receive it very well. To the Spurs fans, Solanke offside, and that is ever so tight. But it could be a pendulum swing in the semi-final. And that's the first time in English football we've heard a referee declare a decision to the crowd, which is another historic moment. I'm sure Spurs fans would have wished that he didn't do that and that the goal was just given. But in the end, the decision declared to the fans, whether they like the decision or not, is irrelevant, of course. But that bit of a respite for Liverpool, who were on the ropes on that occasion. But that will give Spurs a lot of confidence, albeit not getting the goal. But there's space in behind that you can exploit, as Van Dijk there does well against Brennan Johnson. And Tsimikas goes down under a challenge. Free kick to Liverpool. Once again, Liverpool have been sloppy at times tonight. You know, I don't think the Liverpool players can be too disappointed the fact that they were ever so close to being behind in this game. And now Ibrahima Konaté's going to be coming on, and Alexis McAllister's coming off. So maybe a change in system here for Arne Slot, which is a rarity. Or actually not a change in system, apologies. I've just realised, because Endo's a midfielder, so Endo will go into midfield and Konaté will just take up the centre-back role. So it's no real change in system, but a change in the personnel in positions for Liverpool. With around 10 minutes to go, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to hold out for a 0-0 draw here. I'm sure that's not Liverpool's prime focus. They want to win the game, but 0-0 in a away leg of a semi-final is not a bad result, as Diaz does well at holding up the play. Jones in a tight space couldn't get on the end of it as well as he probably would have liked. And again, Liverpool sloppy at times, failing to take away and execute from the opportunities and the space that there is here. Alexander-Arnold right through. Oh, the keeper and the defender got in a bit of a muddle there. Luckily, Jed Spence for Spurs was there to mop up what was a bit of a mess, really, defensively. And Konaté battling there against Werner, putting the ball out of play. Yeah, but Archie Gray, you see the ball in behind from Alexander-Arnold to Salah. Archie Gray makes the challenge and the keeper had come for it, so just a miscommunication between the two. But if Salah had to get anywhere near that one, that could have been a deadly moment and a real head and hands moment for the Spurs defence. But maybe a bit of fortune there for Spurs, maybe overdue in a sense. Alexander-Arnold feeding that one right forward into Endo, and now Salah, he can't even rescue that one. Again, it's just been a similar theme all night for Liverpool. They cannot string 2 or 3 passes together consistently. Really struggling at the moment. I think at the end of this game, if they come away with a draw, to head back to Anfield, they will be, I would say, pretty pleased. But Spurs won't let them away with that just yet. Here's Jed Spence. Spence held on nicely to wait for Werner to get some space. And here's Werner arriving into the box, lifts it across. Van Dijk there to get it away, but no one to follow it out for Liverpool. Spence again on the ball. Now Werner looking for the cross, taking his time. Alexander-Arnold was aggressive, and Endo was out there too and helping out. And Gravenberch there trying to help, but Liverpool not able to win the ball back at the moment. Spence, Werner to Kulusevski on the turn, and the bouncing ball will get all the way back to Alisson as Liverpool want to come forward themselves. Tsimikas upended, but Liverpool play the advantage. Diaz to Nunez now down the left. Not many Liverpool bodies forward. Nunez feeds it back into the middle. Gravenberch will shoot, but that one is straight at Kinski again. And now Kostas Tsimikas is in pain here. He was taken out, which led to that advantage being played. And Lucas Bergvall was the one involved. See it again. Yeah, he was late on that one. And that one is actually much more of a yellow card and a foul than is the one that he was actually given the yellow card for. And on this occasion, he's not given a yellow card. which that was what Virgil van Dijk was querying, the Liverpool captain, and Tsimikas receiving treatment at the moment on that left ankle, which is maybe a bit of a slight worry for him, but we'll see what happens. Don't forget, FA Cup action for you at the weekend starts on Friday night as Aston Villa take on West Ham. West Ham, who will have a new manager in the dugout come Friday. They head to Aston Villa in the FA Cup third round in that all-Premier League tie. Liverpool face Accrington Stanley on Saturday, and on Sunday Arsenal against United is a huge one on Sunday afternoon. But remember, the second legs of the Carabao Cup semi-finals will come at the start of February. Wednesday the 5th for Newcastle against Arsenal, and Thursday the 6th for Liverpool against Tottenham at Anfield. Stuart Atwell will just deliver a drop ball there to Bergvall as Tsimikas back to his feet, and at the moment is off the pitch after receiving treatment, and Liverpool down to 10 for the moment. And here's Lucas Bergvall! 1-0 Tottenham, and this one is very unlikely to be ruled out, it seems. Lucas Bergvall with a wonderful finish to the bottom right corner. Liverpool down to 10 after Lucas Bergvall committed a foul on Kostas Tsimikas, which he had received treatment for and go off the field. And from that, Spurs against 10-man Liverpool take the advantage and make it count. And Bergvall gives Tottenham the lead. And that is a lead that is ever so crucial and could be crucial. And Arne Slot is making the claim that should that player have even been on the pitch to score that goal? And that will be the question the Liverpool players will be asking. And the Liverpool coaching staff are not happy. But at the end of the day, whether he was allowed to be on or off the pitch is not the question. It's how Liverpool defend the situation that should be at question. Ball over the top. Konate fails in a tussle with Solanke. Solanke gets the better of his man, just turns around in the box, rolls it towards Bergvall, oncoming. Lovely finish into the bottom right corner. Terrible defending from Liverpool. But tonight, if you were to say that Liverpool to come away with anything tonight, you would be giving them a bit of advantage and a bit of fortune. They've been second best for a lot of the game in terms of their passing and their play. And Spurs take advantage of what has been a tight game and a lacking quality game. And it is Tottenham 1, Liverpool 0. And it's a huge goal in this semi-final. As Liverpool now have to try and rescue a draw out of this. They have no deficit to take to Anfield, as Diaz's cross is just a bit overhit and dealt with by Spurs. Gravenberch. Alexander-Arnold to Salah. Back to Alexander-Arnold. 3 minutes of normal time to go for Liverpool to try and get a leveller, which they're pushing for here. Salah across, away by Bissouma, but Spurs will defend this lead for their lives at the moment, because they know how crucial it could be heading into that second leg in 4 weeks' time. Van Dijk. Diaz. Back infield to Gravenberch. Now to Tsimikas, who is back on the field now. Van Dijk into Endo. Now Konate is Liverpool all in the Spurs half. Alexander-Arnold across, blocked well by Spence. Another one across, flicked away by Archie Gray. Tsimikas brings it down. Cut back to Diaz. Forward to Tsimikas out wide, who crosses, flicked away and hooked away by Solanke. But all Spurs bodies back at the moment. Diaz out wide to Tsimikas again. Will go for the deep delivery this time. Salah couldn't control it. Alexander-Arnold. Endo now. Back to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Whips another cross in. Off the head of Diaz and hooked away by Bissouma. Spurs defending for their lives. Liverpool trying to rescue a draw late in this one. Lucas Bergvall's first goal for Spurs could be crucial. Could be immense. and giving Spurs an advantage heading into what could be a immense second leg at Anfield. Huge moment for Bergvall, huge moment for Spurs. And that could be a turning point. Liverpool will have their arguments and their claims, but they will fall on deaf ears, really. And Tottenham, as I said that stat earlier, the last time they beat the holders in this competition was in the final in 2008, which they last lifted a trophy. Could that be a good omen if they win this tonight? Could that be a good omen for the rest of this campaign and this competition for Spurs? Could they be heading to Wembley, albeit a second leg to come, and 7 added minutes of the first leg to go? Could it be the turning point? Well, Liverpool have lost just one of the last 19 games in the League Cup. Won 12, drawn 6. They went down 3-2 at Man City in the 22-23 fourth round game. It was their last defeat in the competition. Inside 90 minutes, that is. Spurs have also never lost when playing the first leg of a League Cup semi-final tie at home. They've won 5 times and drawn twice coming into tonight's game. That included single tie games, so single tie and the two-legged ties are both counted in that stat. Here's Diaz for Liverpool into added time as Liverpool try and find a leveller. Last time Liverpool failed to score in a game was that 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest at Anfield as the cross comes in by Alexander-Arnold, and it's actually going to be a free kick to go against Liverpool here, as there was a foul in the middle in the box. I have to say, the substitutes have made a difference for Liverpool in that final third, most notably Trent Alexander-Arnold, but at the same time, overall, in all areas and also aspects of the game, Liverpool just haven't been at a level which we've seen of them consistently up to this point, and maybe that could be a difference. And those Spurs fans singing their hearts out in the stands. And often they're used to Cup success, Cup kind of positives in recent years. Could be one of the biggest ones of recent times here tonight against what is an opponent that have an incredible unbeaten record as of recently. As I said, Liverpool's last defeat was against Nottingham Forest back in on the 14th of September 2024. So 4 months since Liverpool last lost a game. Here they come with Jones. Diaz to curl it in and flicked on by Nunez and just saved wide. Good adjustment by Darwin Nunez. We see it here. Curtis Jones to Diaz, and Diaz just chips it across, and Nunez, great adjustment in the middle. Just takes it first time, flicks it on with his left boot. And Kinski just gets a hand to it to carry it wide. And that gets Liverpool a corner. Tsimikas whips one in. Flicked away by Spurs. The second ball brought down by Spurs, and maybe a bit of a counter on here. Werner. Liverpool will flood bodies back though. But it's good space in here for Kulishevsky. who's beaten to it by Gravenberch, who was back. And now Darwin Nunez will try and find it forward. But can't find any of his teammates. Less than 3 minutes to go of added time. And it could be Lucas Bergvall that is the Lone Ranger, the hero for Spurs on the night. Second leg to come though. You must stress, but an advantage to take to Anfield is huge for Tottenham. There's no guarantees it will hold. That's why an advantage is so incredibly important. As Diaz went down there, wanted a penalty, but was never going to get a foul for that. Pedro Porro not particularly happy that the Liverpool player went to ground. A goal kick is the decision. I mean, Pedro Porro does put hands on Diaz, but I don't think it's enough for a foul, really. It does look a bit soft. VAR were having a look at it, but didn't take any much more of a look. "90 seconds of the added time to go. Spurs 1, Liverpool 0. Ange Postecoglou under a real storm coming into this one. Pressure mounting, conceding too many goals, not doing well enough in their results recently. Sitting in the bottom half of the Premier League table are Spurs. But a win and a clean sheet against Arne Slot's Liverpool, who are in an incredible run of form, top of the Champions League, top of the Premier League, would be a statement for Tottenham. Would be a wonderful statement for them, and a chance to really turn their season around from one of despair and dismay to one of possible trophy success, if all goes well, between now and the end of the second leg. Lovely play by Jones. Diaz. Liverpool haven't given up even to the last seconds here, as here comes Luis Diaz. Alexander-Arnold just about keeps it alive, lifts it over the top. Salah was lurking but couldn't get on the end of it, and it will bounce out for a Liverpool corner. This will be last chance saloon for Liverpool in this first leg. They've scored a couple of last minute goals against Spurs in the last few years. This could be one of crucial nature in a semi-final if they can get it. Or will Spurs hang on in the last few seconds? So Stuart Atwell will delay it a couple of seconds more when he's checking out the box there, making sure all was alright with pushing and shoving. Alexander-Arnold to deliver a corner. Right-footed, whipped in, flicked away. Still alive as Alexander-Arnold keeps it in play on the right-hand side. Another chance, another cross. Up in the air by a Spurs player, still in the box. It falls down, Jones is alive, Van Dijk is there. Endo has a shot blocked. And Tsimikas takes it backwards. Is there time for one more chance? It seems like it was Stuart Atwell. He's not blown the whistle yet. Gravenberch forward. And that ball is all the way through, and that'll surely be it. I don't know what they're looking at. If there was a VAR check for something. Maybe a possible foul in the box? Well, there's no... still going, actually. There's no foul, so the VAR check is over. But Spurs here... Oh... in behind, Alisson gets a grip on it. The referee is allowing it to go, but that is it. He teases Liverpool for another chance, but in the end, the whistle is blown, and Lucas Bergvall is the man of the moment on the night for Tottenham Hotspur. Questions will be asked as to whether he should have been even on the pitch come the point of trying to score his goal, but that will, again, as I said, those complaints will fall on deaf ears. But Lucas Bergvall has given Spurs a 1-goal advantage to take to Anfield for the second leg in 4 weeks' time. If Liverpool are to retain their trophy, a comeback is needed at the historic Anfield in a few weeks. But Spurs have given themselves an advantage, which is all they could have asked for tonight in this one. Not a great quality semi-final first leg, but one where Ange Postecoglou said that he'd rather win a game by scoring lots of goals than winning by 1-0. Well, maybe against his wishes, but I'm sure he'd be very happy with the result tonight. Final score at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium: Tottenham 1, Liverpool 0. And that is in stark contrast to the Premier League game from a few weeks ago. A 9-goal thriller to just 1 goal separating the two teams on the night. And that was a big moment for Lucas Bergvall. So, at the moment, the Premier League's top two are the two that have to go into the second legs with deficits to overcome. Newcastle leading Arsenal by 2-0 heading into the second leg at St James's Park, and Spurs leading Liverpool by 1-0 heading into that second leg at Anfield. Those second legs will be on the 5th and 6th of February, and then the two winners of those ties will meet in the final on Sunday the 16th of March. At the moment, if it stands as the way it is, we will have a historic trophy winner if those two that are leading, Newcastle and Spurs, end up being the finalists, because one of them will have to win a trophy, and they both haven't won a trophy in quite a while. Spurs 17 years, Newcastle 70 years. But we'll see how the second legs progress in a couple of weeks' time. In the second legs at the start of February. Bit of time to wait. We'll see you then. We'll be back for FA Cup action on Friday night. Till then, night night.